Good morning, everyone. My name's Ashley Hill. I'm a producer with the C-SPAN Cities Tour, and we are delighted to be in Lynchburg, Virginia, featuring your history and literary scene as part of our programming. Now, I'm real excited to tell y'all everything we're going to be covering while we're here, but I also have to say just how lovely it is to be in Lynchburg. We've only been here 2 days, but to get to kind of put faces with names. What's so great about coming to a city your size is that I've talked to so many of y'all on the phone already, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's my friend Joanne from the city, of course, or it's my friend Catherine Mosley Brown from the Historic Foundation. And so we already feel really warm and welcome here. As I said, I'm excited to talk a little bit more about the exact stories we'll be highlighting. There's so many to choose from. But first, please join me in welcoming the chairman of the Advisory Board and Foundation for the Lynchburg Museum System, Charlotte Fisher.
Good morning. I just want to welcome you all, the folks from C-SPAN, to Lynchburg. It is a special, special town. And to the Lynchburg Historic Courthouse Museum, where we are today. This is one of the parts of the museum system. Again, we're so glad you're here, and I would like to introduce our Vice Mayor, Trenae Tweedy, who will welcome you further.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here this morning. Thanks C-SPAN City Tours for this great opportunity. We just think we're a pretty cool place anyway to be, so we're excited that you're here, and we think we have a lot of rich culture and history that now the world gets to see. So we invite the world back. We welcome you here, and we invite everyone to come enjoy the Lynchburg that we all know and live in. We enjoy its history, its culture, and we think you're going to discover more great things here while you're here. So thank you so much.
You know, at C-SPAN and with the Cities Tour in particular, we have the opportunity to meet so many incredible people and to visit so many incredible places and tell these stories. But we couldn't do what we do without our partnership with the cable industry. So please join me in welcoming Nathan Daugherty from our partners at Comcast.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good morning, and it's really lovely to be here in this environment. This is a beautiful museum. And I really appreciate and thank the Lynchburg Museum for offering up their space to us this morning. It's really exciting to see all the exhibits, to see all the stuff that's going on. It's a really cool place. Again, my name is Nathan Daugherty. I handle government and community affairs in Central Virginia. And on behalf of Comcast, I'm really pleased to be here with our partners with the city and our partners at C-SPAN to recognize and to help promote the historical and literary history and even contemporary works that are occurring in Central Virginia and in Lynchburg. It's always a treat for me to come and watch C-SPAN do its stuff. It's a fantastic group. They're closing in on the end of their 4th decade of providing really quality programming, primary source material, and it's a pleasure for us to be here and help promote what it is that they do naturally. I'd also like to thank Vice Mayor Tweedy for opening up the city to C-SPAN and to us. It's wonderful working with you, and we appreciate it. And finally, I'd just like to say that at Comcast, we are committed to helping the communities that we serve. Part of that is involved in things like opening a new store this past year that services the Lynchburg area. Part of it is through programs designed to expand broadband access. And then part of that commitment is involved in helping folks see a variety of diverse programming that adds hopefully some value to their life. So I really look forward to the excellent interviews that come out of the city's tour, learning a little bit more about Lynchburg that I didn't know before. And thank you very much for having us here this morning.
Thank you, Nathan. You know, it seems like gratitude is often the theme of our travels whenever we visit a city, especially a city the size of Lynchburg. And so while I do want to tell you all about what we're doing while we're here, I want to thank a few people first. And it is just hard to single people out here. But first of all, thanks to Laura and the board members and the entire staff of the Lynchburg Museum system. Y'all have welcomed us with open arms. You've let us just take over your facility, and we're not even holding it against you that Santa Claus is just a little bit creepy, guys. Just a little bit creepy. I'm keeping my eye on him while I'm talking. Want to thank just the entire staff of the city of Lynchburg. I think it's so cool that you have just a sidebar on a personal note, just women in such positions of power in this city who are really making change, whether it be somebody like Joanne Martin there in communications, whether it be your vice mayor. I'm excited to meet your mayor tomorrow, your city manager. It's so great to see y'all coming out and again welcoming us with open arms. And then of course, we have to thank our incredible partners, Nathan and Comcast. You know, C-SPAN has enjoyed a long business and educational partnership with Comcast, and it's because of them that the C-SPAN Cities Tour is able to visit your community today. For those of you who don't know, C-SPAN was actually created by the cable industry in 1979. Its mission was to provide viewers with direct access to their lawmakers. Now, on C-SPAN, you're going to see a lot of different things, a lot of varied programming that you might not expect, but there are a few things you will never see on C-SPAN. Number one, use of government or taxpayer money. Number two, editorializing of any kind. And number three, commercials. It's truly a service that's not provided by any other network. Now, since we were founded in 1979, we've expanded to include C-SPAN 2 and C-SPAN 3. Now, those house our book TV and American history TV programmings 48 hours every weekend, and brings me to why the C-SPAN Cities Tour is in Lynchburg today. Just as C-SPAN strives to make Washington, D.C. accessible to the rest of the country, the C-SPAN Cities Tour looks to turn a spotlight on unique cities around the country and introduce the rest of the country to what makes them so interesting. Now, how do we do that? 3 producers travel the country. We embed ourselves in a city for a week at a time. We interview authors and historians to produce programming that maybe introduces the rest of the United States to some of the stories in Lynchburg that people might not expect. And I'm going to be honest, before I started researching Lynchburg, it was a town I had heard about, but I didn't know that much about it. I sure didn't know that you have that tie to Thomas Jefferson. I didn't know that we're eating tomatoes every summer. Allegedly that TJ was here. TJ, because we're friends, guys. We were at Monticello last year, and so he and I are buddies now. But you know, this is where Thomas Jefferson is said to have eaten a tomato and shown that it was worthy of eating for the first time. You have that great Civil War history in the area as well. So things that have happened in Lynchburg have affected the entire country, and we're excited to tell those stories. Also, we're excited to just enjoy your community. Now, I know y'all are my folks because you have already given me about 25 restaurant recommendations, which is what I look for when I come to a city. So I could eat at all of those restaurants, we walked up all of the steps to the courthouse. Y'all, there was 140 of those, and we braved it. And this one over here carried all of the gear up there. She's way tougher than I am. So we're ready. We're ready to see the city, but most importantly, we're ready to tell the city's stories on a national level on our networks. So, without further ado, I'd like to officially talk about the stories we'd be covering. First of all, our American History TV producer, Jen Garrett, she's over there. Hello, Jen. She's going to be talking about the area's Civil War history, both at Appomattox Courthouse and at historic Sandusky. Now, we'll also tell the story of tennis integration with the Whirlwind Johnson Foundation. I mean, people like Althea Gibson, people like Arthur Ashe, all were in tennis because of what happened right here in Lynchburg. And I mean, you could even say folks like Venus and Serena Williams are playing tennis today because of sort of the movement that started here in Lynchburg. We'll also visit TJ, my friend TJ's, Poplar Forest. And so what's really cool is we visited Monticello in Charlottesville last year, and now we're getting to see his other home, Poplar Forest here, and it's currently closed to the public, but they're being nice enough to let us in during renovation. And so we're going to be working with and please bear with me here because their master plasterer, that's very hard to say, guys. We're going to be working with them as they do renovations in the same style and the same materials that they used in Thomas Jefferson's day, which I think is really exciting. So we're going to learn about what it's like to be caretakers of a piece of history like that. And as a nerd, I think that's just very cool. We're also going to be spending time right here at the Lynchburg Museum to learn more about the city's transportation and manufacturing history, as well as its role in World War I. We're also going to be talking about Jerry Falwell's tie to the area and the founding of Liberty University. So there's a little bit of the history stories we'll be covering, but that's not it. We are also doing stories for C-SPAN 2's Book TV. Our Book TV producer, Tiffany Rock, she's over there. Hi, Tiffany. She's going to be speaking with author Ron Miller on his book, Sellout, Musings from Uncle Tom's Porch. She'll speak to the folks at the Ann Spencer House and Garden, and also talk about the Harlem Renaissance's role right here in Lynchburg, which is really cool. I didn't know that Ann Spencer was the first African-American woman to be featured in the Norton Anthology. I was an English major, and so the Norton Anthology was huge. That was like our Bible as English majors, and to kind of learn about her role in that, I think is going to be really interesting. We're also, while in Lynchburg, she's going to interview Brian Krim on his book, Our Germans, Project Paperclip, and the National Security State. Kelly Fanto-Dietz on her book, Bound to the Fire, How Virginia's Enslaved Cooks Helped Invent American Cuisine. Du Bois Miller on his book, 10 on 10. Y'all, I'm from West Virginia, and T-E-N and T-I-N are pronounced the exact same way where I'm from. My man with the West Virginia hat over here can attest to it. So 10 on 10, had to think about that one. My McKinley Street years, 1950 to 1960. As well as interview NASA astronaut Leland Melvin on his book, Chasing Space. And as a sidebar, I see some of y'all with your smartphones. Just do a Google for him later on if you haven't seen his official NASA photo, because it is him and 2 giant dogs, and it is the most joyful official portrait for anyone at any job that I have ever seen. So he's going to be talking about his time in the NFL, his time working for NASA, and his life here in Lynchburg. I'll also have an opportunity to get a sense of the city in 2 ways. Number 1, through an interview with Mayor Joan Foster tomorrow. And then number 2, in a driving tour with your preservation of the year. Sally, are you still here? Sally's in the back. She's going to show me all about Lynchburg in a driving tour in a carpool karaoke style situation. Sally and we say we're not going to sing, but if you want to sing, Sally, we'll think about it. But we're going to just take a driving tour of your city, kind of think about its history, and then look at what it is today as well. So, that's a lot. And every piece that we shoot is going to air on a special weekend devoted to Lynchburg on our networks. That's going to be on C-SPAN 2 and C-SPAN 3, airing here on Comcast February 17th and 18th. The city is also going to have a special landing page on our C-SPAN Cities Tour website. That's cspan.org/cities tour. And y'all, if that wasn't enough, and if you forget to set those DVRs, you can go right to the C-SPAN video library and see all of that programming. But you can also keep up with us on Twitter. @C-SPAN Cities is our Twitter handle. So if you have a suggestion of something we should see, someone we should speak with, if you want to see what we're up to behind the scenes, if you want to give us even more restaurant recommendations, we're open to it. Just follow us there. So in addition to all of our televised pieces, we're fortunate enough that Comcast has partnered with us to do extensive community outreach. That includes working with local civic groups. That includes going into local schools, middle and high school, to talk about C-SPAN's Student Cam student documentary competition, as well as local universities to talk with students and journalism students there about careers in journalism. So we're really lucky to get to do that as well. I again want to thank Comcast for their partnership. I want to thank all of y'all for coming out, and for the city of Lynchburg for welcoming us with open arms. We are so happy to be here. We're honored to tell your stories, and I hope you'll tune in February 17th and 18th to see what we do. Thank you so much for coming out today.